Okay, we're ready to roll.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to officially call this meeting of the Mayor and Council to order. I would ask everyone to please rise and observe a moment of silent prayer and or reflection for the Davis Pape family in the Milford. Frank Pape recently passed, and for the families of the 50 people we have lost so far due to COVID in our borough. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
To the flag of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this act, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of New Milford have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Borough Hall, and notices have been sent to the record in the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard the infrastructure, provide fair, honest, courteous, and professional services, establish a sense of trust and accomplishment between all residents, and through research and prudent planning, seek to minimize risk while improving our services. We are sensitive to the needs and satisfaction of our taxpayers, while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people, within the revenue constraints imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. Being that this meeting is being held remote, I need to read the following. All participants are muted during the meeting. Anyone wishing to make comments or ask a question can do so at such time the meeting is open to the public for comment and during public hearings on any ordinances by hitting the button to raise your hand or by typing a message in the chat box. You'll need to state your name and address for the record. Members of the public may also submit written comments for any future remote meetings by either email to cdemiris@newmilfordborough.com or a written letter to the borough clerk. Written comments must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the remote meeting in order to be read into the record during the meeting. Members of the public commenting during a remote meeting shall not act in any manner to disrupt the meeting. If anyone becomes disruptive during the meeting, they will be muted. If time permits, the disruptive individual shall be allowed to speak after all other members of the public are provided an opportunity to comment. Any continued disruption may result in a member being prevented from speaking during the remainder of this meeting. Disruptive conduct includes, but is not limited to, shouting, interruption, and the use of profanity. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Siraki Hurley.
Present.
Councilman Seymour.
Present.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Here.
Councilman Grotzky.
Here.
Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Present.
Council President Grant.
Here.
Mayor Petrino.
Here. Okay. Under unfinished business, may I get a motion for the approval of the minutes from the February 22nd, 2021 work, public, and closed session meetings?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, before we move on to new business, I'd like to get a motion to add an item to our closed session tonight. It would be titled Legal Advice Contracts.
Motion.
Second.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilwoman Siraki Hurley.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Thank you. That will, like I said, will be item number 2 under closed. Okay, new business. First item is the Affordable Housing Act. Council President Grant.
Thank you, Mayor. As everybody may remember, in 1975, the New Jersey Supreme Court handed down a decision which we know as the Mount Laurel decision. It said that everyone has a right to affordable housing. In 1985, the legislature established the Fair Housing Act, which then created COA. COA was the Council on Affordable Housing. Now, COA established procedural and substantive rules and provided clear guidance to municipalities as to how to go about satisfying their affordable housing obligations. They were supposed to adopt, since then, they were supposed to have adopted 4 rounds of rules. They did the first 2 rounds. They were supposed to adopt the third round of rules in 2004, but they never did. So the New Jersey Supreme Court stepped in because of COA's failure, and it created 15 vicinages, which is areas throughout the state, and assigned a judge in each one of those vicinages to hear all Mount Laurel cases, but it did not create rules and regulations to govern affordable housing the way COA had done. And the legislature has done nothing to ameliorate this situation in all these years. So this resolution asks the governor and the legislature to take action. It actually it concludes, it is time for the governor and the legislature to restore a viable administrative remedy for municipalities so they can meet their constitutional obligation to provide affordable housing. Without COA or some other body such as that, the only way of dealing with issues such as builders' remedy lawsuits is to litigate them, which is incredibly expensive. So it really is important that the legislature step up and do what they should do to make it easier for municipalities to satisfy their obligations. So I support this resolution and hope that everybody will.
Any other comments on that?
I just
Item number-
wanted to,
Go ahead.
sorry, take minutes on mute. I just wanted to, I agree with Council President Grant completely. I think that it is long past due that the legislature takes action to help provide the guidance to the towns and the municipalities that are necessary to provide the affordable housing that needs to be provided. So I agree completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can agree that there is definitely a need in the state for affordable housing and in all of our communities, but the way it's been implemented and the way the rules keep changing and cookie cutter templates for each town without looking at each town's uniqueness or their history or what they have is really caused problems for all municipalities, not just us. So I think this is good.
It's not just that, it's just that there is also no standard throughout the state so that every vicinage can create its own method, own ways of dealing with these problems. And consistency is more important, as well as, of course, dealing with the uniqueness of each individual municipality.
Agreed. Okay, item number 2 is Senate Bill 3454. As everyone knows, this is the law that legalized marijuana through the referendum last year in our state. There are some issues going on that we want to support. We want to support a resolution to ask our Senate and our Assembly to amend this law with the provisions to remove provisions that obstruct parental notification for minors, and as well as to get rid of anything that hinders police officers for acting in good faith to uphold the law and keep the community safe. There's a bunch of things in here that prohibit that and is a problem. And I know legislation is starting. Senators and Assembly people are talking about it now, and I think this is an opportunity for our borough to show our support for that.
I totally agree.
I mean, as a parent, I want to know if my child is having a problem with law. And at the same time, as a mayor and as a resident of this borough, I do not want our police officers to be deterred from acting in good faith and keeping our community as safe as possible. So this is twofold for me.
I agree with you, Mayor. I do. I agree.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor, and that is reflected in our resolution 2021:102.
That is correct.
Okay.
And the previous one was 2021:103, the one Council President
Okay.
Grant was talking about.
Right.
Well, item 3 under new business is 2021 budget. We're going to get an update from the budget committee. So budget committee, jump in.
Okay, Chris.
As far as the budget committee is concerned, we have our next meeting on March 12th. We received the numbers from the BCOA, which came in at an increase of $82,422 over last year, which represents a tax increase of approximately $17 to the average homeowner. We've asked the auditor to anticipate an additional $50,000 in surplus to offset some of that cost. We've also made some small increases to fleet maintenance, snow removal, and trees as well. And when I say small, I mean small. The committee's meeting on March 12th to finalize our recommendations, which will be forwarded to the auditor for him to complete the budget document. And we will then forward that to the council for review in advance of the planned budget introduction on March 22nd.
I just want to say, I think it's pretty terrible that each year, we are biting our fingernails waiting for the BCOA to give us the number. And this year was an increase of $82,000. It is so hard to work on our budget and anticipate, what the number is going to be when the increases fluctuate and they're so steep. And that's something we should probably address going forward.
I agree. Plus,
Something that we can do.
they take way too long to get us these numbers, and they give us little time to react to it also. So.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
I don't know what we can do to effectuate change on that, because it's been something, the only reason we have the number is because I've been emailing them. I have a contact there, and I write to them every year, starting in January, to ask for the information, and we don't even have it. We don't have it in hand on paper yet. It's just because I contacted them that we have the information. So
Right.
they don't. I know that I guess they go through their own budget process, and this is the timing that they have.
Yeah, well, I think they should speed
the
up their
timing
process.
is, I'm sorry. I feel like the timing is one of the issues, but the very large increase is the other. So, I'm have to join my colleagues on the committee, as well as you, Chris, and the mayor, in voicing my disappointment with that steep of an increase. And, it's not fair to our taxpayers, especially with the fact that, the year that a lot of our residents have gone through personally and medically, and it's just really disappointing. So we'll work with it like we always do.
Anything else on the budget from the committee?
I'm good.
Well, once again, thank you for your hard work on it. And I know it's going to be another responsible budget.
Yep.
Item number 4 is schedule updates. The only thing I have at this time is our Easter Bunny event, which AKA is going to be the Hippity Hop Trail. This will be on March 27th. It'll take place between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. That is a Saturday, and it will be on Chiquino Drive. It will be the same location we had our Halloween event. So it is the street between the high school and Knightsfield / ShopRite. It will be a drive-by. Residents will go through. They will be it'll be decorated for Easter. They'll be getting goodie bags that have eggs and other little toys in it. And if you get a golden egg at the end of the run, you will get a special prize, just like we were doing previously with the Easter egg hunt. So look for that golden egg. So Charlie Bucket, it's not a golden ticket, it'll be a golden egg this year. Anything else on upcoming events anybody wants to chime in on?
Mayor, I have something to add. The New Milford Environmental and Energy Commission has a dedication planned for New Milford Woods on Sunday, April 25th at 1 p.m. this will be close to Earth Day. And
Okay,
more details to follow.
excellent. Looking forward to that. Any other upcoming events? Okay. Then we're going to move on to item number 5, which is the COVID-19 Task Force Report. Administrator.
The task force met on Thursday, March 4th, with reports from the NMPD, the fire department, OEM, ambulance corps, health department, administration, DPW, recreation, and the Board of Ed. The topics discussed included the status of the vaccination site, the reverse 911 initiative, revisions to the mayor's emergency declaration to provide for organized practices and sports, and upcoming events. The next meeting is scheduled for March 18th.
And the revisions to the declaration of emergency are in our resolution tonight. I did sign it to allow organized practices and sports, starting with sunrise on March 12th. So we are looking forward to a rec season and Little League and being outside. Item number 6 is the Bergen County Open Space Declaration of Intent. Grant Administrator.
Yes.
When I said Grant, I didn't mean Council President Grant. I meant.
Yes. Okay.
Startled me for a moment.
Yes.
It's okay.
So when we last spoke, I'll start from the beginning. We originally talked about the possibility of doing an application for additional funds for Knights Field, and we were happy to report that we have the project fully funded with the money that we have on hand. So then we talked about the possibility of a dog park. Unfortunately, that's not something that's feasible in the location that we were talking about for this year. In addition, in the interim of finding out that we wouldn't be able to use that location, I had heard back from the engineer, and because the area is in, most of the area is in a floodway, traditional chain link fence is not permitted under the DEP FHA regulations. Fences with large openings are permitted, and we have made a request to the DEP to define large openings. He said another option would be to maintain the existing fence outlining the field, modify the fence around home plate, and make the entrance into the dog park, as this area appears to be out of the floodway. The field could be separated into two using a temporary fence extending from home plate to center field, and the temporary fence would have to be removed whenever we were anticipating a flood event. He said once he gets better clarification from the DEP on the fence type, he can follow up with more information on some of the options. But again, that would be for the future, because as of right now, that's not a viable project. So I spoke with Vince and Sil to see if there were some other suggestions that they might have for some open space projects that might be of merit. There were 2 that were suggested. One would be for lights at Sutton Place tennis courts, and the other suggestion was for parking at Warren Street Park on Sheridan Avenue. Where it comes to the end of Sheridan Avenue, we can do parking spaces there because there is no parking for that park. I don't have prices on either one of those yet. I wanted to talk to the mayor and council to find out if there was interest in pursuing either of those, and if so, if there was a preference between which project. We have to put in a letter of intent by April 9th. So I'd like to have a resolution on our next agenda authorizing that letter of intent for a particular project.
How much is the grant for? How much is available?
Well, first of all, it's a matching grant. So whatever we get, we have to match. And there's not a specific number that is, this is what's available. You can apply for whatever it is that you want, but traditionally, we're looking in the area of maybe $100,000 or lower. We've gotten, at one point we did get, I think, $125,000 a grant from Bergen County Open Space, but it really depends on the other applications and other projects because it's divvied among people, divvied among different towns.
I think the,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, it's the first I'm hearing from about either of these projects. And I think my first reaction would be the parking, because I know in the past that's been a problem on that block. And it seems that park will be used more and more as time goes by. So it would be a nice addition to the neighborhood, although lights at the tennis courts would be nice, but I feel as though the parking makes more sense to me. That's all.
I would agree with that. I think the parking makes more sense because there is a safety issue on Sheridan. It is a thin street, dead end street. And we do have tennis courts with lights already. So we don't have an emergent need for tennis courts with lights because we already have that. So I would think that the moving forward with the parking at Warren Street Park was probably the best bet.
I think that's an excellent idea also.
I agree too, for
I
really
agree.
the safety reasons you guys have mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that certainly takes priority.
And
Okay.
Warren Street Park gets a lot of use. So this would be good over there.
Would it not be difficult if you have the parking on Warren Street, since it's a dead end, to turn around?
No, there's like a cut in the end by the park that's kind of like roped off right now. I'm imagining that is going to be improved so you can just back out onto the street and go, because right now you can't. Everything's a 3-point turn to turn around.
Right.
This would eliminate that.
Make that.
Yeah.
Will there be a problem with parking for the residents on that block?
No,
Are we going
because-
to have similar problems to those on Prospect because of?
No, because this parking lot, I'm imagining, is going to be cut into the park. That's just
okay.
dirt right now.
Okay.
If you go to the end, there's like a giant dirt section that is
Yeah, it should be.
that can
properly
be improved, and
done.
it's going to make life.
Wouldn't you
Easy.
be taking part of, I think, swing sets?
No,
Really?
this is at the end. This is at the end.
No, I'm talking about for the parking.
I didn't hear your question. Say that again.
So are you talking about for the parking to cut into the curb there, the park? Where are these
No.
cars going to park?
I'm going to show you. I
I'm
have,
sure.
an aerial view that we had some spots dropped in. I can share my screen, and you just give me a minute to get back to where I need to be in order to do that. Wait 1 second. It's actually not into the dead end. It's into the side of the park, and it doesn't cut into anything. I'll show you where it is. If, 1 second. Okay. So you can see it's
Don't
on
see it.
here. I'm going to, I'm going to give you another view, but
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to turn sideways to see it.
I know.
We do.
Okay.
This is the view without all the spaces, but you can see you would be going down Sheridan and the parking would be here.
So you'd be taking down a couple of small trees, it looks like.
I don't even know that we would be taking down any trees. I think you're just seeing the overhang.
Right.
Right.
And where
The perspective
foliage,
is not
where
quite.
the foliage is, there's a chain, and it's already a curb cut dirt area that's just blocked off
Okay.
right here.
So everybody's in agreement about that?
Good idea.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Stop sharing my screen. Okay.
Right. Okay, item number 7 is the AARP Community Challenge Grant. Administrator.
Okay, so I just wanted to run through this because we had gotten this opportunity presented through Millennium, and it is an opportunity for community projects that improve the quality of life for people of all ages. And there were a couple of suggestions that came in from some members of the council. And I figured in order to, I didn't want to go back and forth individually. I wanted everybody to have a chance to talk about it. But the couple of things I wanted to point out, it's a very, very small window. They approved the project in June and we have to be finished in November. So it has to be something that we can take off the shelf, basically. I don't know that there's something right now that we have. It might be something we can keep in mind and plan for going forward. But you know, I had sent out a link that gave you information about how they will assess the projects. They give 65 points to the impact, which the project addresses a clear need that brings positive change and demonstrates the ability to overcome barriers and accelerate growth and/or sustain the community's efforts to become more livable for all, especially people 50 plus, and/or focuses on diversity and inclusion. Execution, 25 points that we've demonstrated the capacity to deliver the project on time and within the awarded budget. And innovation, 10 points, demonstrates creativity or unique design or engagement elements that will contribute to its impact. As far as the amount, you know, there's no maximum amount noted, but they had indicated it could be hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars. I think we had a couple people who had mentioned the possibility of doing something with the passive park area in Knights Field, but I don't think we have enough ready right now for that particular project to put something together for this grant. And it's not, there's no obligation. We don't have to go through with the application, but I just wanted to see if there was anything that anybody thinks off the cuff that we could make happen very quickly in a small budget that has, you know, an impact and basically, you know, has the impact that they're looking for and can be delivered between June and November.
Yes, this is not a matching grant, correct?
It's not.
Anybody have an
Anybody?
idea?
So how would people feel about benches at the New Milford Woods?
Oh, I like that idea.
It's a good idea.
I'm sorry to be, I feel like all I talk about is the New Milford Woods, but
I like that idea
There is-
too.
There's definitely
It's a great
Electric
idea.
cars.
there's definitely a
some-
couple of
Some
areas
flower
there
plants.
that have really nice views, and you know, we're hoping, you know, it'll be excellent accessibility for fishing. So I'm thinking
Sounds
that's
great.
a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
it will
I think it
also,
fits in that criteria.
yeah, it'll fit
Good
into
call.
the accessibility criteria as well, because especially for the elderly or people who are have accessibility issues, having benches, places to stop and rest and sit, increase accessibility in walking parks.
Yeah,
I like it.
definitely.
You know, walking trails are for all ages, so I think it
Yes.
definitely fits the criteria.
And then
Great
the idea that if we're asking for benches, there definitely, we would be able to complete that by November, I would think. So
One would hope.
that's another plus for that.
I think right away we should I guess you know, maybe Lisa Vincent Sill should get in there and figure out how many are we looking for
That's
and
what I
where
was
would they
gonna,
go, so we can get this together.
Yeah.
yes.
I know there's at least 2 spots I know of just from the last time I was in there,
Right.
but I don't know if on the loop coming back, if Lisa, you
I
know what
can
I'm
think
talking
of
about,
3.
that Devil's Fork where it loops
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Hey,
He's making up
Lisa,
names. Yeah. go ahead.
yeah, well, I could just
Why not?
see it now, really.
Well, I call it Devil's
Lisa,
Fork in honor of the Jersey Devil.
yeah, okay. In the grant that environmental has, are there trash receptacles in your grant, or could we include some in this grant?
Would also be good to include because the ANJAC Open Space grant was primarily for signage, and that
Okay.
grant actually needs to be completed July 1st. And that was
Okay.
awarded with the intention of, because of the investment, the future investment in stewardship for future projects. So this
Okay.
would fit, this fits in with the borough's commitment
Really
to the
nice.
ANJAC grant nicely as well. So it
Yeah.
serves, it
So,
supports that.
So we can add trash receptacles to it as well.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
at the two entrances.
Good idea.
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's going to be a
That'd be
carryout.
great.
I know that. Right.
it
I'll
should
let-
be,
Yes.
go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, it was always planned that it would be carry out any garbage. So I think at the entrance and exit, that's, makes the most sense to have garbage and a recycling can.
Right.
So yeah, let's move on that. So whoever needs to be involved with figuring out how many items we need and where they're going to be and what they're going to look like.
Lisa, I'll let Vince know that you'll be in touch to talk about that.
Certainly.
And the application deadline for that is April 14th. So
April 14th. Okay.
we'll be authorizing that at our next meeting as well. Hopefully we'll have everything lined up and be ready to put that through that week as well.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you.
Okay, that was very productive. I'm very proud.
That'd be great if we get it. That'd be awesome to put it in there.
Yes.
All right, Chris, you're up again. Administrator's report.
Okay. Earlier in the day, I had sent out some information on 2 resolutions that I would like to ask for a motion to add to this tonight's agenda. The first would be Resolution 2021-104, which is to update the borough's COVID-19 travel policy. And the second is Resolution 2021, which authorizes us to use a 3-year average to anticipate revenue for the 2021 budget. This is something that came about from the state where they authorized, they said we could authorize the use of a 3-year average for any revenue accounts that were particularly hit hard during the year because of COVID-19. So we had 3, I think it was the municipal court, recreation, and off the top of my head. Recycling.
Right. Yes.
So if there's somebody that would be willing to make that motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I will.
All right, so that motion, Ira, is for both of them, 104 and 105?
Yes.
Okay, and who seconded that? Randy?
Okay.
Uh,
Whoever.
Okay. Let's get a roll call on that.
Okay, Councilwoman Starkey Hurley,
Yes.
Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy,
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Van Dusen,
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Okay. 104 will be the revisions to the travel policy, and 105 will be use of the 3-year average for the budget. Revenues.
Okay. Next on my report, I wanted to just let everybody know that we have received a request for the use of the Borough Hall parking lot for the 5th grade car wash, which they'd like to hold on May 8th with a proposed rain date of May 15th. I had spoken to Kevin about it, and he and I agreed that we should advise them that we will reserve the date, but that we're going to have to review the request based upon whatever state and local restrictions are in place at the time. So it may or may not come to fruition. I just wanted everybody to know about the request and how we were handling it. Okay.
Did you say 5th grade car wash?
Yes.
From,
They do it as a combine from both.
oh, okay.
both. I just wanted to give everybody an update on our aftermarket recycling. We have gotten confirmation from ACF, which is Atlantic Coast Fibers, that we can bring materials directly to a location in Newark. which thereby eliminates additional transportation expenses. So with that in place, the pricing is based upon market conditions, which is comparable to what we were getting directly from Atlantic Coast. And so based on this representation, we're planning to continue under the contract. As just a little matter of housekeeping, wanted to let everybody know that the State Association for the Municipal Clerks conference is being held virtually next week from Tuesday through Thursday. I'm taking a few classes on each of those days, so I may be a little bit unavailable, but I will be available for the most part. I just wanted to let you know that that was taking place. And other than that, our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 22nd. That's it for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay. Next item of business is a proclamation. This proclamation is for National Poison Prevention Week. Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas Congress designated the third full week in March to be National Poison Prevention Week in 1961. And since then, this week has helped raise national awareness of the potentially dangerous medicines, household products, and chemicals, environmental contaminants, and other substances. And whereas poison control centers across the country will focus on the public's attention on free, life-saving services provided by poison centers, as well as educating the public on ways to prevent poison exposures. And whereas the New Jersey Poison Control Center, a division of the Department of Emergency Medicine at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School, provides 24/7 expert poisoning treatment advice, drug information, and prevention education at no cost to the public through the Poison Help Hotline. And whereas New Jersey Poison Control Center's specialized medical professionals, doctors, pharmacists, and nurses provide accessible, free, confidential poisoning medical treatment advice and information to all. And whereas New Jersey Poison Control Center services save healthcare dollars by eliminating thousands of unnecessary emergency department room visits and result in shorter lengths of stays for patients hospitalized for poisoning. And whereas New Jersey Poison Control Center is instrumental in the surveillance and management of poisoning exposures across the state, including the use, misuse, and abuse of medications, legal and illicit drugs, environmental contaminants, bioterrorism agents, and common household products and chemicals. And whereas New Jersey Poison Control Center is involved in New Jersey's efforts in homeland defense, counterterrorism, emergency preparedness and response, and biosurveillance. And whereas the COVID-19 hotline at New Jersey Poison Control Center, a collaboration with the New Jersey Department of Health, has assisted nearly 90,000 additional callers to provide up-to-date, unbiased, accurate information, as well as medical guidance and links to services. And whereas a poison is defined as anything that can cause harm if taken in the wrong amount, in the wrong way, or by the wrong person. And whereas although most reported poison exposures involve children 5 years old and younger, most poisoning deaths occur in adults aged 20 to 59. And whereas overdose deaths from prescription opioids, over-the-counter medications, and illegal drugs remains at epidemic proportions for both New Jersey and the United States. And whereas lead exposure and carbon monoxide poisoning remain major public health concerns. And whereas poison center experts encourage the public not to guess, wait for symptoms, or waste time looking up medical information online when potential poisoning exposures occur. They should call 1-800-222-1222, text 973-339-0702, or chat at www.njpies.org. And whereas all residents should save the Poison Control Center's hotline in their cell, home, and office phones, because a fast response can make all the difference in preventing serious injury and saving lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Michael Petrino, Mayor of the Borough of New Milford, do hereby proclaim the week of March 21st through the 27th, 2021, as National Poison Prevention Week. And I encourage all citizens to pledge their commitment to ensuring the safety of themselves, their families, and our community. That was a long one.
Yes, it was.
But very important. Very important.
Just reminded me of a funny story. If you're interested in a moment of
Sure.
jocularity. When I was in law school, a good friend of mine was feeling ill, and she She wanted to take some Pepto-Bismol, which is nice and pink. By accident, she took the nice pink cream rinse and took that instead. So she, yeah, right, this was not,
Oh,
but she called the poison control center and they gave her some advice and she was fine. And she was not under 5 years old either. So I
When I
forgot.
was little,
Sick
I
as
ate a
hell.
whole bottle of Flintstone vitamins. I did that when I was little.
oh,
Yes. It was on the day of my uncle's wedding, so my mother was freaking out because she was trying to get ready for a wedding. Meanwhile, I ate a whole bottle of vitamins. So it's my little story. Okay.
nice. Good.
Good.
Flintstone vitamins were good. They're grape and cherry. But anyway,
Oh,
Resolutions.
boy, here we go.
everyone had time to look at the resolutions. Are there any resolutions that need to be pulled out for further discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to discuss 104, the travel policy.
Okay, I will pull that out. 91, 92, 93, and 94. Those are reappointing our Class 3 officers to the schools. I want to thank them for their continued service to our borough. And I'm sure they are happy to be back in action at the schools. Okay. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to open to the public for comments.
Motion to open to the public.
Second,
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, give us your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes to discuss anything New Milford related.
We have 2 members of the public attending, and at this time, neither has indicated that they wish to speak.
Okay, at this time, I would ask for a motion to close to the public.
Motion.
Make it a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Steve.
yeah, do you see everybody?
Magic.
Let's go around the squares. We are going to start with Councilman Grotzky.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Council President Grant.
I want to mention the fact that today is an International Women's Day. It's a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievement of women. It was started in 1911. And the other item is that this Thursday, there will be a pop-up library from 2 to 4 at the library. It's going to be a nice day, so they are holding it. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Siraki Hurley.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to refresh, I'm sorry, I can't see my notes as to what I have listed. For historic preservation, just to let everyone know that there is a sign-up sheet for preliminary questionnaires. And you can go, it's on the social media, Facebook, it's on the borough website, it's on the Historic Commission. And what it is questions, anybody who wants to fill it out as to the present residents or past present residents on possibly the history of New Milford and how New Milford became a community. So that's a little interesting little project that we're putting together that we did get a grant for. We're also looking to do that project by buying a couple of flogging kits. I don't know if everybody knows what that is. I had to look it up. It's a stand that will hold the camera. It has lighting, and you can also plug in your machine, whatever it is, to record everything. It's a few dollars, and that's what we're using part of the grant for. The other thing is, this past Saturday, Municipal Alliance and Stigma Free had the Black Balloon ceremony, which was cold, but very nice. People attended. We had our signs up, our balloons up. And I'm sure next year we'll go bigger and better. Also, I just want to say thanks to Lynn Sullivan, who is our senior center director. She is putting out so many, Zoom classes out there between yoga and exercise and light weightlifting. Yeah, she's quite busy. As a matter of fact, tomorrow they're having a Zoom meeting with the seniors, and Nancy, our chairperson to Historic, will also be zooming in on it to speak to some of the seniors about the history of New Milford or what they have gone through. And that's about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, oral histories of New Milford are priceless, and we should definitely capture as many as possible. Those are great.
Yeah, and that's
yes,
what we're doing.
The Senior Citizen Center is doing a wonderful job. Lynn is doing awesome. I have the privilege of hosting virtual bingo on the 16th, and I didn't tell Lynn yet, but I actually went out and bought a bunch of things, and I made like a St. Patty's basket. And at the last bingo card, I'm gonna hold it up and I'm gonna tell everyone whoever wins this game is gonna win this basket, and then I will deliver it to their porch. So I think they're gonna be quite excited about that. My 10-year-old.
Winning.
My 10-year-old actually built the basket, so we'll see.
By the way, somebody told me today that Lynn Sullivan's going to be on New Jersey 12. She's being featured while she gets her COVID shot.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Mayor, just one other thing I neglected to say, that Lynn is also having a Jeopardy.
Oh.
The first one was, I think, this past Friday, and there is a group out there of very young kids, high school kids. I believe they're high school kids. It's called, oh my goodness, COVID Networks. And they put this whole Jeopardy game together. And like I said, Friday was their first time of having so our seniors are being really kept busy. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always think of
Great senior program.
Groundhog Day. Bill Murray's like, what is Lake Titicaca? And everyone just looks at him.
It's amazing.
Councilman Seymour.
I just want to echo what Councilman Siraki-Hurley said earlier. Black Balloon Day was a fantastic event, and I think we can all agree that the importance of remembering those that we've lost to addiction cannot possibly be overstated. So I couldn't be prouder of the New Milford Municipal Alliance and the Stigma Free Committee for partnering and coming together to organize and host our second annual event. And once again, give thanks to Chair Alyssa Lunam and Co-Chair Melly Arena and the members of both the Stigma Free Committee and the Municipal Alliance for the great work that they did. So I thought it was a very special event. It was cold, but certainly worthwhile despite the cold weather. Absolutely. The Recreation Committee met again and is continuing to work towards reopening spring sports with energy, with passion, with excitement. Everyone is very excited to get sports rolling in the spring. Mayor, as you mentioned before earlier tonight, and the Board of Education also met. And as I think most people are aware now, last week they began alternating Wednesday as an additional day of or half day of live in-person instruction. And as of March 22nd, we'll be combining cohorts in the high school and also in the middle school to provide even more live in-person instruction. And they are actively working towards the same goal for the elementary schools as well. So I just definitely want to give them thanks for their hard work and their time and slowly but safely getting us back into the classroom. And that's my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. I think my most important thing that I can report is that Our health department, in conjunction with the OEM, has been creating the infrastructure for our COVID-19 vaccine clinic. We are ready to go. It kind of launched, I'll say, on Friday evening. Currently, members of the community can go to our borough website and register online. And I encourage anyone that's listening tonight or anyone that goes online to take down the phone number that's there and please get it to the people who do not have computers or do not feel tech savvy enough to register themselves. There is a phone number dedicated strictly to those people. We are trying to reach out to all layers of the community. So when we do become ready with the vaccine in hand, all members of the community will be able to be reached. So I encourage anyone that is looking for their vaccines to participate in ours. And the advice we're also giving is to continue to pursue options at hospitals, CVS, Walgreens, those types of options as well. So as long as you get vaccinated, wherever you end up and wherever you go, is not really our concern. Our concern is that our entire community can take advantage of these vaccines and be protected from this horrible disease. So that's my report. I'll keep it at that right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say congratulations to the Municipal Alliance for another successful Black Balloon Day, second annual, and wanted to report that the Environmental and Energy Commission supported the initiative by providing balloon disposal instructions in the giveaway packets. So the Environmental Commission is always supportive of the fellow committees and commissions. I have some good news today that I learned about an hour before the meeting, is that New Milford has been selected as a participant for the technical assistant grant. So that's the Green Team grant that was submitted in February. We've already heard back, so that means we're going to have a very exciting spring. The technical assistant grant will be to create benchmarks in municipal energy use. Municipal buildings will be the focus. Where the next, we'll be having an initial meeting with the team and meeting our technical assistant to go over those priority actions. So if anyone has any additional priorities and goals that they would like to share with me, please do. So we'll be having that meeting within the next 2 weeks, I guess. I'm guessing because I have to coordinate people to coordinate the team for that. So
That's good news.
That's great
good
news.
Yeah.
That is great. Good for you.
And more Green Team. Green Team's super busy. So they're also have started their Sustainable Jersey Actions certification application. So that's going to be sent out in pieces. So I will be contacting liaisons as they as the actions come up as they're related to your committees and commissions. So the aim of the Green Team is to send things out in small pieces so no one person is overwhelmed. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent.
And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very exciting.
Mayor, I forgot to mention that the municipal audit for last year is starting this week as well. That was the only other thing on my report I forgot to mention.
Okay. Okay. Councilwoman Sandhusen, you had a question or you wanted to discuss 104, 2021:104?
Yes, I have a concern about what this travel policy, how it's going to affect. I have a concern that it's going to that it's inequitable and that it's there are some assumptions being made, and I just kind of feel like there needs to be a little bit more discussion. I have some cautions about it, and I'm curious if there is a sunset clause on this, because when this first came in, there was we were in a different time. So
It's following the state and CDC recommendations. So we revise it as those recommendations are revised. That's why we're revising it now, because we have travel season upon us. Vacations will be starting, and we wanted to make sure that we were current, because the policy that we had adopted in July was no longer consistent with the CDC and state regulations.
Would you
So
still like me?
Could you actually brief us on what changes were made in the current revision?
Well, I mean, one of the things you could see is that it now makes provisions for people who've actually gotten vaccinated.
Yes.
That's the main, yeah.
It also reduced the amount of time for quarantine. Originally it was 14, now it's 10.
Right.
It also gives an option for testing that can further reduce the quarantine.
Thank you. I thought the public should know.
Councilwoman Sandhusen, do you still want me to list it separate for vote?
yes.
And it applies to our employees. It's an employee policy. It's not a resident policy.
Okay. All right, so I am going to ask for a motion to approve resolutions 2021:87 through 2021:103 and 2021:105.
Motion to adopt. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, listed separately, I would ask for a motion to approve 2021:104, the borough's travel policy.
So moved.
Second,
May I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilwoman Siraki Hurley.
yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Nay.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Is there any other business before this council before we go into closed? Okay, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going into close for 2 items. When we come out of close, we will not be taking any action and we will be adjourning our meeting. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, and continue to be safe and enjoy the upcoming warmer weather that's coming in the next few days. So everyone's happy about that. Right now, may I get a motion to go into closed session?
Motion.
Motion.
May I get a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Right.